Hi guys and welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Malteser Easter cake. Let's begin. To get started on the recipe, you'll want to start with the cake sponges. So grab yourself a mixing bowl and place in all of your granulated white sugar followed by the butter and beat the two together until they are lighter and fluffier in colour and consistency. For me this always takes around 7 to 10 minutes, but it depends on how warm the climate is around you. Generally the warmer the climate the quicker they will incorporate and the air will incorporate into the mixture. Once you're happy with the consistency, you can then go ahead and add in your eggs, one at a time, beating well in between each addition. And after the eggs have been added, you can then go ahead and add the vanilla and just mix until that's fully incorporated. Give the bowl a good scraping down, and this is just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Then you can go ahead and add in your dry ingredients. Pass them through a sieve if you want to, but I didn't find mine was very lumpy. So I just added all the dry ingredients in and mixed on a low speed to start with, working you up to a medium-high speed. And as you can tell, my mixture was a little stiff, so I added some milk to get the perfect consistency. If you think the colour of my batter is a little different, it's because I used black cocoa powder, but feel free to use just regular cocoa powder. Now give the bowl a good scraping down, and this is just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Now you can go ahead and take the cake batter and divide it between your 3 6-inch cake tins. You can feel free to eyeball this like I have, or you can go ahead and weigh it in so you get an accurate amount. I then just smooth and level the cake batter off so they all bake evenly and consistently, and bake them up, then place them into the oven. All that information will be in the blog post. While your cakes are baking in the oven, you can go ahead and make your buttercream. So into a saucepan place your sugar and water and mix the two together, then place on the hob to come up to 121 degrees. In a mixing bowl, add in your egg yolks and your whole egg, and just whisk until the mixture has quadrupled or roughly quadrupled in colour and size. You can then go ahead and add in the hot liquid mixture into the egg mixture once they are both ready. Steadily make sure that the whisk has been turned down to the second lowest speed, then turn up to the highest speed and mix until the bottom of the bowl can be touched with the back of your hand. Once that's achieved, you can then go ahead and add in your butter. You may find that the mixture goes a bit loose as you add the butter, but don't worry, once the butter is incorporated it should thicken up and look something like this. Again, if it doesn't, place into the fridge. But then I like to add in my malt mixture, which has just been added with a little bit of water to make it a bit easier to work in. And as you can tell, it's just a very standard colour. Just give the bowl a good scraping down, and this to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. And to make it a true Malteser flavour, you'll want to add some cocoa powder and chocolate, and this will recreate the Malteser, which is a malt ball covered in some chocolate. So this is a malt chocolate buttercream, like we have a malt chocolate cake. So once your cakes are baked, you can level off the dome that may have formed and just brush them over with a good generous amount of simple syrup, and this is just to help keep the cake moist, especially if you're serving this over Easter weekend. So then you can go ahead and grab your plate, board or stand and place a small blob of buttercream into the middle and place your first layer of cake on top. Then pipe buttercream onto the first layer of cake and smooth and level it out as best as you possibly can. You can then go ahead and repeat the process by placing your second layer of cake on top and just press it down a little bit so that will secure it in place. And again, it's just the same process of piping buttercream. I like to pipe a ring then fill that, but feel free to do it whichever way works best for yourself. If you have a different way, perfect. If not, don't worry, do it the way I do it and you should be fine. Then you can place your final layer of cake on top, and then that's the filling process done, and it will just be decorating the sides, which is super easy. Place your piping bag, fill your piping bag with the buttercream and pipe a ring around the outside. I know some people like to do crumb coats, but I generally find that my cakes aren't too crumbly and I don't have, any issues with crumbs. So if you do find your cakes are crumbly, do a crumb coat, but I don't always find it necessary to do one. And as you can tell from my other cakes, I don't generally do it that often. Any excess buttercream place on top, then you can smooth and level this out as best as you possibly can. It doesn't need to be perfect, as we'll be scraping the top again in a bit. Take your scraper and just smooth out the sides as best as you possibly can. Make sure you remove the buttercream from the scraper and just repeat the process until you're happy, filling in any gaps with some of the buttercream that you've scraped off. And don't forget to save some buttercream, as you will be piping rosettes on top of the cake in a little while. So once you're happy with the scraping on the sides, you can then go ahead and remove the rough edges from the top just by scraping them inside the cake and removing that buttercream and placing it into a bowl. Make your ganache and then do your drip. I will leave all that information in the blog post, which will be linked down below. I like to have varying lengths on the drip, so I do have some longer, some shorter, but feel free to do the drip however you would personally like. And here is what the drip looked like on this cake. Then I added a little different thing on this cake, and I had some Maltesers in the cupboard, so I just placed a ring of Maltesers around the bottom edge of the cake, and I just liked how it added more of the Malteser flavour and just added a bit more chocolate, so why not. Then I piped my rosettes on top. Feel free to pipe as many or as few as you like, but I went with around 8 on this cake as it's a perfect amount, and topped each of the rosettes with a Malteser bunny. Just perfect finishing. So thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more from me, and I'll be back again very soon with another recipe, so join me then. In the meanwhile, don't forget to check out the description, there'll be a link to this recipe, a link to my blog and links to all my social media, so don't forget to go and follow me over on there. But that's all for today, hope you enjoyed, bye guys.